Show you now how to put the stuffed cabbage rolls together. But first I'm going to show you some of the ingredients that I used. I made the whole grain Uncle Ben's brown rice. You cook this to your desired, how you desire to make it. I added, this butter to the rice, you know, just to season it, to give it some taste. And I also added just a little bit of the pink salt to the rice, and I cooked it up. See, you want to see the rice? I cooked up the rice. You know what? And I actually, you can use water to cook your rice, but what I usually use is chicken broth. So I use this chicken broth to instead of water for my rice. So just to give the rice a lot of flavor. You have to remember, when you're cooking, each thing needs its own flavor. So I flavored my rice with the chicken broth. I also flavored it with a little bit of the Earth Balance butter. And then I seasoned it with a little bit of the pink salt. And you also do this to taste. And this is the rice that I like. You can use any rice that you prefer, but this is the kind of rice that I like. So after that, I boiled my cabbage leaves. First I washed them, and because I like the real dark green of the cabbage. This is cabbage. I washed it, soaked it, and I cleaned it really well because I didn't want all that white, I don't know what it was on here, but you know, in the stores people are touching the cabbage and all of that. So I really like to wash my cabbage really good. And these are the leaves off the cabbage. This is what we're going to use to roll up our ground turkey. I boiled this in salted water, and I salted the water again with the pink salt, and I just let it boil and just kind of cook them for maybe 10-15 minutes. So cook that until they're kind of limp, because you're going to actually cook them again once you roll them. Now here is my turkey meat. Again, you can use any meat you want. I like ground turkey meat, so that's why I use this. I'm sure you can use ground beef or ground chicken, whatever meat you like. So, and if you don't season your meat, then once these stuffed cabbage rolls cook, it won't have any flavor to me. I am also going to put a few of the red crushed peppers. I don't really like hot food, but I do like it with flavor. So I'm only going to use a few. Put those right in there. And again, you can do this to taste. If you love hot food, go for it. I'm also going to put some garlic powder into the turkey, the ground turkey. And like I said, again, you season this to taste. And I like my food to taste like something. You may say, oh man, that's an awful lot of garlic powder. Well, I like garlic powder. And once you mix this up and you cook it, this is onion powder. I'm also going to put some onion powder in here, you know, just to make sure. People think healthy food doesn't have to taste good, but I like my food to taste good. So I'm going to just kind of mix this up. And see how the seasoning really kind of disappears? You know, the seasoning kind of disappears, so it doesn't look like I put any seasoning in here. So I'm going to add a little more of my everyday seasoning, because I want my food to taste like something. This may seem like a lot of everyday seasoning, but it's really not. This is a grinder, so you have to keep grinding the seasoning in order for it to come out. So I just continue to, and it only comes out a little bit at a time. So that's why it looks like I'm using quite a bit, and I'm really not. See, can you see that? I'm really not, because once you stir this up again, you can't even really see the seasoning. And I don't want to cook all these cabbage rolls and then they taste like ABC nothing. So therefore, I'm going to keep mixing it up. Let's add a little more garlic powder. Yes, these are going to be so delicious. I'm going to add a little more onion powder to this. Then actually I'm going to add a little bit more of my everyday seasoning to this. Like I said, You season it to your own taste. This is my taste. This is how I like my food to taste. But if you try it this way, you'll love it. See, so kind of mix that around. I'm going to put, let me see, I have onions here. I have onions and peppers I put in my food processor. So I'm going to put some of that in there. And you can use as many onions as you like. You can also use like maybe a medium-sized onion if you don't want the peppers or whatever. But I kind of wanted to give it some color. So that's why I added the peppers. I'm going to put a little more of the onion mix in there. Onions and peppers. You can use green peppers, red peppers. I think they all pretty much taste the same to me. Going to just mix that up. And then I'm going to add to this mixture, I have 2 egg whites. Just the egg whites. I don't use the yolk because it's high in cholesterol. So I have 2 egg whites here. I seasoned my egg whites too. And I'm just going to add my 2 egg whites. These are large eggs. Show you what that's looking like in there. These are large eggs. Then I'm just going to stir this around again. It's almost like a meatloaf. Yes, I just thought about that. It's almost like you're making turkey meatloaf. But we're just going to stuff it into the cabbage. Okay, and then I'm going to add, I have tomato soup. I'm going to add some of the organic tomato and roasted red pepper soup. Doesn't that sound good? I'm just going to shake this up a little. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake that up a little bit. I will put the ingredients down in the description box. But I'm going to put a little bit of the tomato soup in here. All of this stuff is to kind of help hold all this together. And then I have, what else do I have? I have my rice. Going to add the rice to my turkey mixture here. All of this is going to be stuffed right inside the, that rice looks good all by itself. My goodness. Going to add all this together. This is 1/3 cup of the rice that I showed you. And it's already seasoned. Then I'm going to mix this up really good. Mix all of this together. Doesn't that look good? That looks like a meal already, all by itself. It's going to be so good. You gotta try it. Mix this up. You can use your hands if you like. I would prefer not to, because it's a little yucky looking. The raw egg and all that. I might add a little more of the soup. And I'm sure you can substitute the soup for tomato puree or something like that if you want to. But I'm using the tomato soup, the organic tomato soup. So I'm going to mix that up. And we're looking really good here. And then I'm going to just use a bigger spoon. I'm going to mix this up a little more. Just to kind of make sure everything is mixed in there together. Isn't that looking good? That's your turkey meat with all the seasonings and different things in it. Did I put salt in here? Let's add a little salt. A little bit of the pink salt. It's going to put a little bit of the pink salt in here. Just to make sure this turkey meat have a little flavor to it. There we go. A little bit of the pink salt. And you can also add pepper to this, but I really don't because I added the red pepper flakes and the everyday seasoning, which already has pepper in it. But you can, by all means, add pepper to this. Thing that I did, I took some of this meat and I put it in the microwave so that I could taste it. Like I cooked it so I can taste it to make sure it had enough flavor to it. It's really delicious. So now I can add it to my cabbage. Wow, that's really good meat right there. It's seasoned just right. So now I'm going to take my cabbage that we pre-cooked, that I pre-cooked already, washed and pre-cooked. Okay, this is my cabbage. And this part, oh, excuse me, I'm still eating. This part you have to do with your hands, actually, because you have to kind of roll the meat up. So we take a little bit of the meat, and we take our cabbage, lay it flat. You're going to just put as much meat as you desire into the cabbage, and we're going to close it up. Let's see, we're going to roll it. Somehow we have to roll this up. All right, let's do this again. Roll, okay. Roll, roll. It's almost like making a what would you call it? An egg roll. So we're gonna roll it, roll it. There we go. I got it. Roll it, and then I'm going to take a toothpick to close this up to make sure once I cook it, it stays closed. Isn't that cute? Here's another one. I'm just going to keep rolling them up. Put the meat in like a log. It makes it a little easier to manage. Kind of roll the sides up so that the meat doesn't come out. And just roll, roll, roll your boat. Just keep rolling it. There we go. This one is better. See? Isn't that cute? Let me see. Can you see that? Then I'm going to put the toothpick in it to keep the meat from coming out. I think I used a little too much meat, but I want a lot of the mixture on the inside of them. So here's our stuffed cabbage. I just put maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a half, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a half of them in this pan. And then what I'm going to do now is pour some of the tomato soup over this. Shake this up again. I'm going to pour some of the tomato soup on this. See how good that's looking? Pour the soup over it because this is what's going to make this cook. Okay? You can do that to taste. I poured some of the soup over it. Now I'm going to season the soup a little just to make sure it has some flavor once it cooks. I'm all about flavor. Just make sure you're seasoning your stuff so that when you're done it will taste amazing. Again, this is my everyday seasoning. Put a little bit of that. I'm going to also put a little bit of the onion powder just to give this some taste. A little bit of the garlic powder. There we go. And then once this cooks, in about 40-45 minutes, I'll come back and show you what it looks like. It's your cabbage roll with the turkey meat inside. This is your cabbage roll after it came out of, actually on top of the stove I cooked it. Put a lid on the pot and just cooked it. Let's see what it looks like on the inside. Make sure you remember to take your toothpick out. Let's cut this open and see what it's looking like on the inside. That thing is hot. See, you can see your, oh man, that looks delicious. That is your ground turkey cabbage roll. These are the cabbage rolls right out of the oven. Just wanted to come back and show you how good they came out. Thank you so much for joining. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Remember to share your cabbage roll and the video with your family and friends. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.